All right. Here we go. So now that some of you people watching know that no, men and women are not the same, obviously. We are not treated the same. There is nothing that will be equal between us because we are not the same. I have to point out the obvious fact that yes, we lie the same. Our lies are treated differently, which is why I say, lie to me, whisper sweet nothings. All right, let's get into it.
Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
Let me put on this timer real quick. Because I got to. Because I'm coming from you where I usually am, working, active, on my phone, mind you that. So, lying, lie to me, tell me sweet, whisper sweet nothings in my ear. Lying is not equal. It is used differently. I mean, especially between men and women, and it is very effective. Actually, I remember I was, because I'm a weirdo. I was watching some scientific stuff, and they were talking about, human communication and how verbally communicating spawned more than just verbal communication and a way to dictate things. It also spawned the ability to lie because before, you couldn't. It was hard to lie because you couldn't really just tell somebody something. They had to see it for themselves. You had to show it to them, because they couldn't verbalize it. But it's easy to be able to lie once you're able to communicate. You can lie and tell somebody about something that's like miles away. Be like, oh yeah, I definitely did this, and there was a rock there, and I jumped off the rock, and there's like totally no rock there. So you can easily lie. It made it actually easier to lie. Now, why is this important? Because I always uphold that when it comes to men and women, we are different. We have different core values, different ways we're brought up in the world, even though today they try to blur the line. But in nature, you can only blur the line but so much because we have literally evolved to be the way we are. I remember I'm reading this book right now. The guide to modern day. I cannot remember the name of the book to save my life. But pretty much, it's talking about the hunter gatherer's guide to the 21st century. There we go. I think I got it. And it's a very good book, actually. They're very scientific. They break things down. Of course, you can easily research the stuff, which I've already researched a lot of it because I already uphold that we are rapidly going through some changes today. And one of the things they push is we're changing too rapidly, even though, like they say, the human niche is the ability to change niches, which is true because, things are different today than they were 10 years ago, and they're different than they were 10 years prior, and then 10 years prior, and then 2 years prior to that. So we're constantly changing things. Nothing ever stays the same in our society, especially today, because things are rapidly developing faster than we can really keep up with it. So, that being said, today, lying is an effective tool, similar, especially for women, considering that the tool of men is money. So, yes, I'm somewhat equating a man's money and wealth, i.e., power, to a woman's ability to lie. Because her vanity is important. Like just like money is important for the guy to be able to show his ability to do things, to get things done, and therefore flex his power. Lying is the woman's ability to protect her vanity. the way she's perceived by society. It's damn near necessary. And if you, the ironic thing is, it's always been a tool, but today it is much harder to lie about things because there's digital footprints, records. You know, most everybody has a social media account. So a girl can lie and say she wasn't a party girl. You can get on her social media account and look up all her party girl pictures. Oh yeah, you sure wasn't. She's friends with people from a whole nother city, state. You can get on some of their profiles and maybe even ask a question, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, she was the girl that used to thought it out all the time. So you know, lying today is a little bit harder. No, I'm lying. It's a lot harder. You can't even lie on a job application, really, because if the employer wants to really look you up, they can. You know, you have to remember, like back in the day, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, you know, you could literally like switch towns and switch your name, and they really didn't have any effective way of looking you up. I'm John Morrison now. What's good, man? So I find that interesting. But lying as a tool, especially for purposes of protecting vanity, image, that kind of thing, very important. Because as a guy, it's harder to lie about your resources, which is what you're valued upon. So you can try and lie and rent the car. You can try and lie and rent the house sooner than later. More times than not, I can look up on a site. It shows they're not the owner of that house. You can lie about the money in your bank account, but if your lifestyle does not equate to it, it doesn't matter. So the things that matter as a guy, much harder to lie about. But what are the things women lie about? What are the things women lie about? Well, one, they definitely lie about their body count. I mean, how are you going to prove that she had a few too many one night stands? You can't. Even on social media, like there could be a time where she literally just doesn't post the guy she's with. Now her friends might know, because you know her friends will talk. She'll talk about the guy to her friends, but outside of that, there's no way you will know ever. Shoot, I know some girls where they even lie about being a virgin. They totally aren't. Just straight up lie about it. So as a guy, we do value our women not being promiscuous, but most women today are, which is why this whole system, especially on YouTube, people, this whole dating coach thing is so how can you say it? So popular. You know, guys complaining about the girls out here doing what they do, and then them pretty much complaining about it, which is not a masculine thing to do. I've already said this before. Complaining about stuff is not exactly a masculine thing to do, but you can talk about it. But you know, when it looks like you're complaining about stuff, then that's when you cross the line. Now, let me see here. For example, let's look at the typical relationship. More times than not, the person who asks for monogamy is da 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 the female. And unfortunately, it's safe to assume more times than not, the one who is definitely not being monogamous, not so much physical, but she's definitely talking to other dudes, is the female. Girls absolutely I was going to say until marriage, but even during marriage, they will talk to other guys. So yes, Now, it's good to look like you're being monogamous, because if you're not familiar with the concept of monkey branching, um, a girl will be with a guy, she finds another guy that's better, it also plays into that whole hypergamy thing, and she wants to monkey wrench to the new guy, but she's already with the current guy. Well, one, she'll try her best to keep the current guy in the shadows. She'll work the relationship to a point where it gets toxic. That's what this is why a lot of girls say, oh, the relationship got toxic and then they move on. Yeah, it gets toxic because they make it toxic. Then eventually something happens and they break off. And then what did I say? Oh, she's with another guy. Like a week or two after the breakup. Well, she's with the other guy because that was the plan. She wanted to break you off to get with the better guy. And that's why guys today throw fits. They're upset because they understand the game. Oh, now why is this? Well, I uphold the notion, honor, respect. That's more so a masculine thing. Because to be a liar, to not honor your word, that doesn't, that's not order. That's not honor. That's not respect. And I already told you it's hard to lie about, your income, where you live, your house, what the things you own. It's hard to lie about the intangibles. Well, tangibles, your assets. It's hard to lie about that, which is what a guy is going to be. His worth is going to be more objective. Things you can see, like, oh, I'm out here doing it, but you don't own anything. You don't have a house, you don't have cars, et cetera, et cetera. So it's easy to pretty much say, yeah, you're lying. The woman on the other end, what's her lie? Oh, I'm a nice person, not promiscuous. Subjective stuff that is completely and totally not so much. You can't even really quantify some of this stuff. Like you're just pretty much going based off a word of mouth. And if you know anything about contracts, at least today, you get it in writing because some people's words, especially today, are not worth a damn. Now, in the prior example I gave, I want you to kind of understand the concept of projection too, which is you'll be in a relationship. Of course, we already know who usually pushes for monogamy, and the one being not so monogamous. Guess what they're doing? They're going through your stuff to make sure you are being monogamous because it gives them, say it, it's this weird thing where it's like, you want to make sure you're not getting screwed over. Not so much that you're not losing, because guys hate losing, but with women, it's more so like a get even thing. And I talked to a girl who was with a guy who was absolutely, they weren't in a monogamous relationship, even though that's what she wanted. He had already cut her off, and she couldn't let him go because, as I had told her, I was like, yeah, I already know how it is. Because I was like, yeah, I gave her the advice of, yeah, you might want to just leave him alone because the only reason she wanted him was because she took an L and he totally won and got over on her because he saw her game, per se, because she had a plan and he totally was like, yeah, I ain't falling for that. He got what he wanted, then he got out. Now, it wasn't that she lost that got to her. What it was she can't just explain that away because apparently she had been with this guy for some years. Some people knew she was dealing with him. And this is where it comes into play because now when her family and or friends are like, "Hey, whatever happened to so and so?" Well, it's kind of hard to lie and say, "Oh, well, I was running game on him, and then he realized I was running game on him, and he left me." Well, that's not favorable to her. Now, some women can try and lie and be like, "Oh, he cheated on me," even though there's literally no proof of that, and then well, the danger is, what if people contact him and be like, "Hey, why'd you cheat on so and so?" And he's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" So it's easy to debunk that. So instead, what she has to do is she has to try and get back with him and then make him screw up the relationship and then break up with him. It's a fucked up scenario, but that's definitely what she was trying to do. And I told her, I was like, I already knew she was gonna keep doing trying to get with him, because she was making it very clear, like, yeah, there was something about him and she was trying to hold on to him, and I was like, he already sees your game. You took an L, take the L and walk away while you're ahead. And she just could not, because she wanted to get back with him just to make her truth come to life. Because what she was trying to, well, she didn't say this, but this is what I was inferring. What she was trying to do, this is my opinion, is get back with him, do the thing where she makes it seem like he's crazy, create trouble or whatever, make it toxic. So then when they break up, she can claim he was toxic and abusive, etc., and then break up with him. And in that situation, now she's not in the wrong. Because now, when people say, "Oh, well, what happened to so and so?" She can just be like, "Oh, he was toxic. He turned out to be toxic, etc., and then we broke up." Cool. Now she's in the clear. She couldn't just leave it where it was, because she had to get even and protect her vanity. But yes, totally true. That is totally true. Now, there are master manipulators, and most of them are definitely women. You can look at any reference or text, even biblical references to the manipulative nature of women, why they don't lead the household, etc., etc. Um, Even historical text, outside of the Bible, of course, pretty much all religious texts, pretty much. And there's a reason for that, because yes, the nature of women, which is what I'm trying to understand, the nature of men and women here, they are narcissists. They are vain, and they understand the power of perception. As long as people see, as long as people see them in the right light, they don't hold on to honor and respect like that. They don't have an honor code like guys do. The only ones that do are the ones that abide by the rules of the guys, and they have a husband that they're up under. But the women, especially today, which, like I said, women today are at the freest that they've ever been. Women today are showing their truest nature, which is they're not abiding. They don't give a shit about any honor. All they care about is what they can get out of it. Now, they're more than willing to tell lies. They're more than willing to believe lies. One example is the delusion that a lot of people talk about with women today. There are 2, 3-time baby mamas still thinking that they can get a dude. In fact, women are such good liars, they will believe their lies. They will believe their lies into complete delusion. That's the funny thing. They lie so much. See, once you lie so much, I think there's actually a disorder for that. But once you lie so much, you start to believe your lies. Some people might talk about schizophrenia or whatever, where you start hallucinating shit and whatnot. But no, there is a delusion where once you lie so much, you actually start to believe your own lies. No, somebody tell me that doesn't match up with modern women today. Not all. Shout out to the all police. I ain't talking to y'all. I'm talking about most. They believe the notion that they'll get a better guy even though they're a 2, 3-time baby mama. They believe that their chances of getting a nice, viable husband who's going to take care of them at 35 is just the same as when they were 22. And yes, they will lie to you and say that I know not what I do. No, the whole concept about, especially in the black community, the whole concept of what the gunocracy was pointed out in 1965. Actually, it's on record, and there were plenty of people in that same time period, especially 1970s, where they were talking about the single motherhood in the black community. They were talking about how they were living in poverty. Of course, this was right around the time of the welfare thing. They were being told, I mean, they were running freaking TV specials on it in the 70s, 1970s. They were running TV specials on the single moms and and living in poverty and on welfare and you know, the one I watched, I think it was like a PBS Frontline or something like that. I think it was a Frontline one. It was, of course, a black family. The girl was like 15, 16, having a baby with another 15-year-old guy. Her mom was a single mom who had her at 15, living on welfare. And she was like, yeah, I'm just going to do what my mom did. So, yes. So, any single mom today who tries to claim that, oh, I know not what I do, no, she knows exactly what she do. Because every single mom that she's been around, it has been made very clear since the 70s and since, to be honest, since 1965, because it's on record with the early reports of the Moynihan report, that yes, these single moms out here are not doing too well. The whole notion of I'm gonna be a single mom and succeed, no, that has never been true. But like I said, they will lie to themselves so much that they will begin to believe their own lies. And they will lie to the point where they did something screwed up, and they will lie about it and be like, I know not what I do. I was young and dumb, et cetera, et cetera. No, she knew what she was doing. She knew that wasn't the way to go. She just thought, she thought that the dude that she laid up with would do what other dudes do and take care of her. That's what she thought. You know, people talk about the child support rig, thinking, oh, I'm gonna get child support and benefits. No, it doesn't work that way. Everything you get, you gotta do taxes on it. So no, you don't just get free money here and there. In fact, the whole welfare game is literally coming to an end because a lot of these chicks the past year or so, 2020, 2021, they got cut off because they were abusing the benefits. And you know, that's how it's supposed to be. Of course, since they were taking advantage of it, that's how it's supposed to be. They were never meant to be permanent. So yes, your ability to lie as a guy is not the same as a woman's ability to lie. It absolutely is not. The two do not equal up. Shout out to the folks in the chat, Miss Lash's Journey, and She Stole My Thunder. I love asparagus. Yes, lie to me. Tell me, whisper me sweet nothings. Now, why would guys lie? I already said it's easier to spot the lie from the guy, but the reason why he would lie is to get a girl. But the only girls that would believe his lies are those who are naive, who are ill-experienced, to some extent, believe that they are actually better than what they are. That's why, if you notice, some of these guys, they actually specifically target girls that come from single mother households, not girls with fathers. The reason for this, father will point that dude out and be like, nah, bro. Because guys have questions. Because we got to. Oof. Leave that alone. Gotta head back to the truck. But guys ask questions for a reason. Now, the reason why guys ask questions, because guys know ain't nobody coming to save you. You're on your own. You have to build and provide for yourself. You shouldn't or can't depend on anyone else to take care of view, it is dangerous as a guy to try, to try to use the same trick because nobody wants to take care of you anyway. Now, to women, they know that men want to take care of a certain type of women, which is why they will lie about how they act. They will lie about their past, and they can and will lie about sometimes. Sometimes they'll even lie about if they got kids or not. Just about to be real. Yes, you can confirm or deny it, but let's just be real. She'll dig her things and then be like, "Oh, I lied. I got a kid," and then by that time, you're kind of like, "Ah, you're emotionally tied to her." So yes, that's actually a strategy that they used, I believe, with the whole what is it, the Cynthia G chick or whatever over there, where they'll be like, well, she was like, "Yeah, just lie about your kid." Like, yeah, they don't mind about it because it's a tool. Like I said, it is a tool. But with guys, you lie about your income, et cetera, et cetera. Other guys ask questions. That's one of the reasons why scams. Of course, when you're living in a gunocracy where it's just the women, they believe that narrative of get rich, get rich quick. The whole do no work and then you just get stuff because they lie to each other about that crap so much that they just believe it inherently. That's why it's so easy to scam, so much easier to scam women than it is to scam a guy because they're not seen as no one's telling them that they have to, even though they're trying to push that narrative. No one tells them that they have to perform like a guy and earn a lot of money because some of them assume that they're just going to get with some guy, wrap their legs around them, and then he's going to provide for them when they get tired of working and trying to prove that they don't need them. Shout out to y'all. Now, guys, on the other hand, our net worth is like what we build is us, meaning that's what gives us value. The things we accumulate, the things we build, that is literally what gives guys value. So when a scammer tries to come to us with some get rich quick scheme that we have to put our resources in, that we literally have to work, we had to work usually hard to get. Not only that, but our value is tied to it. Guys are a little skeptical because they know better. They know that there are guys out there, women out there that will lie about something to try to get their resources. So guys ask questions, obvious questions, because they have to. They like their money. They know their money is way more important to them, and people, other guys and women, want to get their resources by any means necessary. That's why it's a little harder to scam guys than it is to scam women. If you look up on some research, that's why it's easier to market to women than it is to market to guys. Because to women, all you got to market is, you just got to keep your marketing subjective. You just got to keep it like, oh, this is the best pad. And once you push it out there enough, women will just inherently believe that must be the best pad because I keep seeing commercials about it. But what they find marketing to guys, if that product does not perform as well as you say on the TV or radio or wherever you're running that commercial, what they find is it has no impact on the sale of the product if it's a shitty ass product. Shout out to the ladies that know to buy men's razors because they're made of better quality. Yes. Good example is men and women's razors. Women razors made out of that cheap plastic and shit. They don't make them properly, but they run a bunch of commercials on certain products for y'all, and y'all just buy it all up, depending on whoever spends the most on their commercials or whatever. With guys, they found no such significant correlation. It took a lot more for them to try that method with guys to the point where it made it pretty much a no-go. Like it was a loss. So they were like, yeah, we just got to make the shit better. So they made the shit better. But this is why like supply and demand is so important, because you can only demand something of someone that's making something based upon whatever it is leverage you have. So like if you want to get paid more, you got to have some type of leverage to get paid more. And then if you're good enough at what you do, and whomever employed you, they give you the money. So it's similar with the guys' razors. What they realize is, hey, we got these razors, we want to sell them, but we find out we can't use the same tactics we use with women, so we actually have to make them better. That's very important, especially with capitalism. People will only do as much as they need to get better. That's actually a very important point in life. People, it's a human thing. Let's just be real. It's a human thing. You want to do as little. Actually, it's not even human. It's an animal thing. You want to do as little effort or whatever as possible, at least in nature, to save energy. So one of the ways to do that little bit of work is to lie. I'm sorry. It's effective because now you're on the defensive because okay, she lies to you and tells you she didn't do all the stuff that you're accusing her of doing, and it runs the same way. But like I said, with guys, it's much harder to lie because you can be easily disproven because she's going based off of your resource, objective stuff that she can look at, the tangible stuff that she can verify. You have it, you own it. It's easy for her to spot you as a liar, but it's much harder to spot her as a liar, which is why when I have the danger with Kevin Samuels thing coming up, I talked about fake femininity. There are women that absolutely will fake it until they get married. They will act. Shout out to Brittany Renner. I'm going to do a reflex on her where she literally says herself through her own accord, yes, I played wifey for this long, and I actually I will be talking about that, and I will be talking about how I believe PJ wasn't as much of a sucker to marry her. However, she did work some magic on him and wound up getting a baby out of it. Because over here, I go based off of when it comes to women because I'm making this where women absolutely will lie about situations. She talks about my truth instead of it being the truth because there's his story, her story, and then there's the truth. I know how a lot of times when people look at stuff hindsight wise, it's the outcome. So she can lie as much as she wants to about that not being the goal. The goal was a family with a white picket fence. But the thing is, the outcome was her being a baby mama. That was the outcome. This is one of the reasons why I say it's so hard, it's so hard to spot it, especially if you're like some of you guys, y'all don't know what y'all doing with women. Like y'all think you're big macho until that one real good one, until she gets you alone in a room, and if she worked that magic, she wrapped them legs around you, you done. You are done. There's a reason why spies are the best spies. There's a reason why they tend to be women. Guys naturally lower their guards around them. That's why, like, some of the top guys, they know this, which is why you have to inherently continue to treat them like guys. It's not natural for you to treat a woman the same as a guy. No, it's natural for you to somewhat lower your guard around a woman because that's the response, especially an attractive woman. The more attractive she is, the more magic she can work. But that's actually natural. I talked about the dimensions of women and how they relate to children, and they have that cute factor that makes you want to take care of them. Yes, there is science behind this. I'm not just talking out my ass. There's actual science. I hope this is not too loud in the background. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but there is science to this, which is why even in that Brittany Renner situation, which you'll see when I do the reflex later on, I will have some snippets and everything about the interview she did, where she literally contradicts herself. And yes, I will put out a narrative that I do believe is the most true, based off of what I know, not only about male and female nature, but just how I know about game today and how certain women and men move in today's dating world or market, whatever the hell you want to call it. especially online. Like this is why like I go based off of what the outcome is because people will absolutely cap and lie online because it's hard for you to actually confirm anything. They use fake names. Even the guys talk about they got money, don't got money because you can't. Like I said, remember what I said earlier? It's easy for a woman to kind of verify, what you got. But my thing is, if it's a guy online, you can't even see his crib or nothing. I mean, you can't verify what he's got. You gotta go based off of what he talks, and anybody can look up stuff and talk about it. You know, put out some stuff, some fancy stuff that he said he got or whatever, or he done bought something on credit card. Like some dudes are actually going into debt to try and prove a point. But yeah, like it's hard to verify stuff online. It is. I mean, shout out, shout out to the Spencer Cornelius and whatnot on the YouTube space. Shout out to what is it? Pocket watching with JT. You know, pointing out some dudes that will be talking about the finances they got, and they absolutely lying about where they live. They lying about actual just basic credit stuff, credit card scamming and crap, which shows that they don't know what the hell they talking about. This is why I'm a listener because I like just letting people talk. Because for those who know, the more somebody talks, the more they learn about each other. And I think I'm gonna end on this point. A good book. This isn't a good example. Is actually very well known. It's on the reading list of most, if not all, successful people. And that is, well, actually, two good books. It's The Art of War by Sun Tzu and 48 Laws of Power. Want to know what those two books have in common? Understanding the power of misdirection, understanding the power of manipulation, understanding the power of pretty much what I'm talking about here, lying, telling half truths, that kind of thing. There is power in this, which is why those books are so relevant. They're pretty much like a tool book that shows you, hey, yes, lying and manipulation is a tool. And when I was reading 48 Laws of Power, I mean that book is like 48 Laws of Power. That most of the stuff in that book is literally about manipulation and lying to get your way. It's a tool book. It shows you different tactics. It tells you the benefits and the risks. It is what it is. But one of the things that stood out to me when I first read that book, because I read it like twice, but when I first read it, one of the things that really stood out to me was like literally all of the tactics, the 48 laws, literally all of them. I'm like, I was already aware of them. I had already seen them or witnessed them because of the women that I've been around. I'm like, oh yeah, I've because for those who know me, I actually do. I like keeping company with the ladies, especially attractive ladies. I mean, I'm a friend to all, but yes, I would befriend ladies. I would willingly friend zone myself, but most of some of y'all ladies, some of y'all would try to push the boundaries and see what you can get out of me, and I made it very clear, like, nah, chick, you in my friend zone. Some chicks will try and come through and be like, hey, buy me lunch or something. And I'm like, nah, chick. I took no offense to it because I guess they thought what they thought, but I like being around attractive ladies. I like befriending y'all because if I'm just being honest, that's how I learn a lot of the tactics that y'all do. That's why when I read the book 48 Laws of Power, I had already witnessed most of the laws in that book, if not all of them, because of women. Because like I said, it's much harder for a guy to lie about what he's got than it is for a woman to lie about her talking to some other dude that will never even talk about it. Think about the dynamic. the lie about women cheating better than men. I've already talked about why that is. One, it is the women that absolutely be looking for their dude to cheat. That's why that whole narrative that men cheat more than women is out there. You can't deny it because it is. It's a fact. There is a narrative that men cheat out there, period. If you try to refute that, you're saying a lot about yourself. You're already being disingenuous. So yes, that narrative that men cheat is out there. However, thanks to recent information, especially online stuff, women absolutely do engage with communication with the intention of intimacy with guys outside of their current relationship. Whether or not it elevates depends on the ability for her to monkey wrench to the new guy. Meaning, yes, women absolutely do cheat. I'd say at a higher rate than men, much higher rate than men, because it's easier for them to. Sex, when we're talking about cheating, they usually talk about sex anyway. Sex is much easier for a woman to get than it is for a man to get. A man has to earn it. A woman can just have sex with any dude she chooses. Because more than likely the dude will say yes. Because that's just how it is. In fact, there's actually a reason for that. I'm actually going to talk about sex later on today. And how sex is different for men and women. The thrill of the hunt. How having sex for survival is way different than having sex for sport. Hunting for survival versus hunting for sport. That is two totally different things. And I do plan on doing a broadcast on that very shortly, actually, within a few hours, actually. They'll follow up on this one. But one of the things I didn't touch on was with sex. When a woman cheats with a guy, and this is one of the reasons why I did not pursue, to have sex with women that had guys, even though I have been approached by some. So, yeah, shout out to you, dudes. your ladies definitely sneaking around on you. But one of the reasons why is because I know the reaction that dude will have if he finds out. Some women actually would cheat on their boyfriend to do that whole get back thing. Remember what I said earlier? Women do things to get back at their guys. Yeah, some women will cheat only to get back at their boyfriends or whatever, because they think or assume that he cheated. Most of the time they do it without any kind of real evidence, but let's be real. They assume that he cheated, and then they do the whole I'm gonna get back at you thing, and then they cheat. That's actually one of the common reasons women say one of the common reasons that they say they cheated. Well, because you cheated, you was talking to Sally. Blah, 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 blah. That's actually one of the common reasons why reasons they say that they cheated. I know because it was used on me, and it was a total lie. Well, I cheated because I thought you was cheating. Oh, ladies. Well, one of the reasons why I didn't do it is because men know guys take physical action. Because, especially the weak guys, the simp guys, like when you look on the like the news, and there's like some account where a dude, blasted some dude that was cheating on with his girl. It's the dude goes after the other dude because he still feels. Now sometimes they do the murder suicide route, but oftentimes dude find out some guy sleeping with his girl, he goes after the other dude. I didn't want no parts of that. So I was like, yeah, let me not put myself in a situation like that. Even in a situation where another dude is sleeping with my girl, if there were ever a situation, the only reason why I care about that is because what if this dude that she's messing around with is some simp dude, and he wants to get rid of me? Yeah, I don't want no parts of that. Yeah, go on, he can have you. I don't want no parts of that. That was how I looked at it. I was like, go ahead. I don't want no parts of that because it ain't worth it. Because there are dudes out there that are desperate enough where they will take you out to get your girl in secret. Now, some dudes Now this is the top guys. Now the dudes I was talking about prior, those are usually the bottom feeders. They're usually guys at the middle or the left. They're usually a little desperate because they ain't had nothing and they finally got some and now they want to protect it. That's those guys. Now the guys usually at the top, the guys that got the options, if their chick steps out, they don't give a shit. Usually. Now there could be that whole disrespect thing where they care about that, but usually they just cut her ass off and then on to the next one. They find another chick. Now the guy that cheats on her, the guy that she steps out on, he has no reason to contact the current dude. Like he will, like we as guys, if I'm a dude and I'm smashing a chick that has a guy, she has a guy that's taking care of her, paying all her bills, and then she comes with me and give me the buns for free. I am winning. I have no reason whatsoever to want to mess up whatever's going on here. If anything, I wanted to keep going on. I wanted to continue. Some dudes will even tell you that the dude that her chick was smashing on was a guy he knew. And he confided in him, and he'd be like, "Hey, bro, stay with her. She's worth the stay." All the while he's smashing her on the side. Yeah, dude, if I'm getting what I want out of her, I don't care. I'm not having to pay her bills because she got a dude to do that for her. I'm good. Now, if I were to create the inverse of that, women today are absolutely messy. When a woman's sleeping with a guy, she wants him. So just like the lesser guys I talked about earlier that might try and get the dude out the picture, that's most women today. When a woman's sleeping with a guy and she knows, and mind you, the key thing is she knows, like, because in the prior example, the guy knew that she was in a relationship, he was still smashing her. Now, so in this situation, she knows he's with another woman. She absolutely will engage with him because she now is trying to get him away from her because now she wants him. Sometimes some women are a little bit more nefarious. Now some women they just want to mess up other people's shit just because they ain't got nothing better to do than damn self. So some women out there they just nefarious. They just want to fuck up everybody else's relationship because they single. Shout out to y'all. But usually she'll be sleeping with him because she wants him. So women today are messy and they will do some dumb shit like say they went out and get this. Say they go out, right? The chick that he don't went out with, now mind you, she's a side chick. She knows she's a side chick. She will post a picture, like say they go to a club. She'll snap a selfie, right? While they're at the club. She will post a selfie on her social media and she'll tag him and his current girl in it. You hear what I'm saying? She on purpose. She gonna tag him and his current girl on that picture, and then try to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. All that. No, she did that shit on purpose because she wants the current girl to know, yeah, I'm with your man, because she knows the usual response for women, at least the dumb women that don't know how the game is run. She knows the usual response for women is to be like, oh, you're a cheater, yada, 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 and then she leaves the dude. That's exactly what she wants you to do. Now, some women, they'll actually hold on to their dude. They'll be like, I peeped the game, chick. Some women are smarter. They're like, yeah, I already know what you're trying to do. Because let's be real. Some women today are reasonable. They understand guys. They understand, hey, he just smashing you. You just a side chick. The smart ones actually know this. They actually be like, he already told me, yeah, you a side chick. This is why I say modern women, like women today, are messy because there is no they don't. Some of them don't willingly, like by majority at least, they don't willingly accept the side chick position without trying to get the main chick position. That's just how they are. That's why they're messy today. That they'll mess up your current relationship to try to be the main chick. Some women just need to know, y'all just a side chick. But I went on a little bit too long with this one. I'm probably going to have to clip it up. But let me end it here. So, yeah, Lying, even lying, is different when it comes to men and women. This is a fact. So, till next time, and stay safe out there because we already know.
I'm in love with the coco.
Alright, till next time, y'all.
お前はもう